Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Be dumb frog pleb wage E Gen X. Read some Terence McKenna and reset me. Somehow get the impression that ayahuasca will turn me into some kind of supermensch with godlike consciousness. Book a retreat in the rainforest from the nicest-looking website. Send money by PayPal. Get emails from retreat coordinator hyping all the purification and detoxification ahead. Get on plane. Arrive in Iquitos. Meet the group and facilitator at a cafe by the Amazon River. The facilitator, some lanky yank, basically behaves like a creepy pickup artist towards the attractive Russian women in the cafe. I already hate him. Take Jeep to the actual retreat in the jungle. Facilitator brings a small kitten with his girlfriend. Get to the resort. The facilitator takes an hour assigning huts to each guest, though we are only 8. Confusion. People who paid for single occupancy huts have to share quadruple huts because no one sorted out the organization beforehand. Everyone pissed. Clearly the dude is winging it, revealing he is basically volunteering facilitator duties for the actual owner of the resort who is AWOL. So basically the facilitator is a 22-year-old. Unemployed bum LARPing as a spiritual guru. Have a group dinner, everyone talking about their drug experiences. Ecstasy this, cocaine that. Finally next evening, the first ceremony. I think I'm actually about to die and be reborn somehow. The ceremony shaman is a young guy. The facilitator lays down the rules for the ceremony. Basically no talking, no touching. Always listening to the shaman's direction. Ask the facilitator to go pee outside. Everyone sitting in a large circle in the ceremonial hut sits between a Polish stewardess and an American. Ritual begins. Everyone going to the shaman station out of turn to drink a cup. My turn. Get smoke blown out in my face by shaman drink cup. Tastes like B-52s. Go sit back. Start to get nauseous after 10 minutes. Intense nausea coming up real quick. Start to regret the whole idea. Finally, puke loudly into the bucket. Relief feels good, man. Be proud because first of the group to puke like it was a race. Feel relaxed for the first time of the whole trip from Leafland. Feel cozy with a bunch of cool kids in the jungle. All the nighttime jungle noises outside are suddenly commenting on what happens in the hut. Everything coming together. Everything pure and organic. Tiny vision of an undulating multicolor seahorse in my mind. Remember that someone mentioned seahorses in the previous dinner. Basically spend the rest of the night just chilling out and feeling good, getting good friendly vibes from everybody. Think about my whole life. Realize I'm in a good spot and doing good. Nothing serious to worry about for the foreseeable future. No reason to be stressed and paranoid. Shaman offers a second cup to the group. Don't push my luck, still gently buzzing from the first cup. The whole night feels like a weekend at a camp with all my favorite cousins. Having little conversations on the porch of the hut with a Polish girl. Shaman and facilitator loose and relaxed. Beautiful songs from the shaman all night long. Feel grateful to witness this experience. Bulgarian boomer gets a second cup, starts to laugh loudly and talking about his trip, makes an ass out of himself in front of the whole group. No cares.mp3 from me because I'm still on my gentle buzz and holding space. Eventually the sun rises and I go back to my hut. Try to sleep but can't, feeling tired, headaches. The whole day is miserable, basically a hangover. Go to group dinner, find out the facilitator has left the resort. The kitten he brought into the jungle got attacked, has to bring him to the vet in Iquitos. Shaman takes over daytime facilitator duties for the day, hardly speaks English but we can communicate with signs. Forgot to mention it was a retreat of 5 ceremonies over 10 days. 1 down, 4 to go. The next day at dinner after the hangover, everyone is talking about their trip. Everyone trying to outdo the other with their tales and visions, or feels like it. Or probably it's my own projection. Get annoyed or bored by other people's stories after 15 minutes. Spend an afternoon talking with the shaman. Get along great with him. Feel like a bro with a good heart. Genuine connection like I've known him all my life. Tells me to relax my jaw when I'm tripping. He saw me making faces when I was tripping. Eventually, the second ceremony. Shaman assigns places in the hut. Makes me sit next to beautiful Russian girls that I normally wouldn't talk to. Intimidated by her beauty and femininity. Eventually drink my cup. Feel nauseous, small puke. Feel intoxicated and sick, but no buzz, no visions, no altered reality. Just feeling really drunk. Nothing else. Shaman goes around the hut singing songs individually for everyone in the dark. I am next to last in the rotation. Shaman gets to me, starts singing his song. Shaman puts his hand on my leg, gets overwhelmed by feelings of fraternity. No homo. Totally letting go. Put my head on his shoulders. Put my hand on his back so his energy circulates back to him. I know the trip was worth it just for this hug, genuine human connection. The face-to-face song is over. Shaman goes back to singing at his station. I'm still buzzing and feels like I met a new friend. Feel the voice of the shaman call out to me in the dark to sing along with him. My heart skips a beat. Feels crazy and improbable. But I have a feeling in my bones that the shaman is calling out to me. Maybe because of acoustics, the voice bounces to me like he turned his head in my direction on purpose. I have a terrible singing voice. I don't know any songs and I don't speak Spanish. Pretend it didn't happen. Immediately feels like I ruined the moment and evening by chickening out of the call. I am a coward. Rationalize that any artists asking people to join them would prepare it ahead, not just call out people in the middle of the show. Next day, I'm looking forward to speaking to the shaman. He acts cool, like nothing special happened between us. Okay then, maybe it was just my imagination. The facilitator comes back from the city, walks around shirtless and bullshitting with the Russian girls with his stories of dietas and spiritual knowledge. Ceremony 3. The shaman sits me again between two Russian girls who are friends with each other. As the ritual is underway, when girls need to speak with each other, they need to speak through me. Girls ask about me and where I come from, feel like a king from their attention. The ceremony starts. I drink my cup, trying to enjoy the Icaro songs and rocking with the pulses, trying to send good energy waves to the two Russian girls. Bulgarian boomer starts bad tripping, crying, and feeling scared. The facilitator doesn't do anything. Bad tripping goes on. My party is ruined. Finally, try to speak to the shaman, ask loudly, "Do you need help with the bad tripping guy?" As my lips move, I realize I am messed up and can barely speak coherently, sounding like Leonardo on the payphone in Wolf of Wall Street. Feel like I made a fool out of myself in front of everyone, though I just wanted to help. Regress into myself. A lifetime of social anxiety and humiliation hits me up at once. Review my whole life of social failures in my mind. Schoolyards incidents all play out in front of me. Realize I'm 10,000 miles from home with strangers I hate, except the Russian girls. Shaman feels like he lost control of the ceremony. Everyone on edge, offers a second cup to everyone to try to calm us down. Decide to go for it and make up for time lost. Drink a big cup, salute shaman. The facilitator I distrust comes to speak to me in the dark, knowing I'm feeling anxious. Ask me if I've connected with the medicine. Feels like the facilitator is a con artist using deceptive language to manipulate me, but I'm too messed up to defend myself verbally, so tell him I'll speak to him in the morning. Spend the rest of the night anxious, feeling stupid and lost in the dark. Rest of people sleeping and chilling. Think randomly about one time many years ago I walked in the city for 14 hours for no reason. Remember, I never would have thought I was capable of walking such a distance in a day, but did realize I will get back home and everything will be all right. Start to feel the second cup coming up. Everything turns green, though it is still pitch dark in the middle of the night. Feel my hand tremble. Suddenly, a burst of courage and energy hits me. I start clapping loudly, telling everyone to wake up. The sun is about to rise. I start to yell. I can't speak words, but I can grunt. Every grunt and scream feels like I'm lifting stones out of my chest. Think I'm crossing over to the other side, whatever that is. The shaman freaks out and runs to my seat, and the facilitator tells me to shut up. How dare you? This is the greatest moment of my life. I am healing a lifetime of worries and tripping on ayahuasca. Let me speak. Continues basically speaking in tongue for 15 minutes. For the first time and maybe ever, I speak before I think. No filter. I have to listen to myself to realize what it is I am actually saying. Start to talk about a camera and a lake. Basically, I am openly babbling and speculating loudly about sleeping with the Russian girl on the beach the next morning and recording it with my camera, as if it was foretold or about to happen. I am pretty fucked up, but I do have an inkling that I'm speaking too much. Time to be silent. Shaman takes me to the center of the hut. You wanted attention, buddy, here you go. I am spent and just have dumb thoughts inwardly, such as, wow, if I stop breathing for a second, it's like I put my life on pause. Eventually, the shaman and facilitator asks me to go for a walk. Yeah, cool idea. Stand up, no equilibrium, pretty screwed up, crash back to the floor. Blackout. Waking up, feeling leaves in my mouth. A huge splash of water hits me. I woke up next to my hut all wet. I have no idea how I got there. The facilitator and shaman carried me while I was puking all over the path to the hut, apparently. The shaman splashed a bucket of water to wake me up. Go back to my bed, still feeling triumphant and kingly from the earlier buzz. I have been keeping a diary in my hut. Facilitator asks if he can look at it. Yeah, sure, buddy. Realize I've been shit-talking the facilitator and making caricatures of the guy all over the diary. You know what, dude? Don't look in my diary. Come down slowly. Realize what it is I've just said in the ceremony. Acted like a huge tripping ass. Think I'm about to get kicked out of the resort when the morning comes, if not the country. The facilitator and the shaman stay in my hut to look over my sleep, even though the worst of my trip is over and I'm calm. They speak in Spanish in the dark. I can't understand what they're saying, but from their intonations and certain words I can understand. I think they are analyzing me, discussing where I went wrong in my life. Eventually they leave. I'm petrified from shame, but no longer intoxicated. Sun rises, go for a bath and a shave, trying to be serious and think of a way to deal with the situation. I spent all day in my hut, too embarrassed to go to lunch and face the group. Eventually, the shaman comes over just before darkness and begs me to go back to dinner. Longest walk of my life from the hut to the lounge. I think I'm about to meet the last judgment, everyone mocking me or condemning my behavior in unison. Walk into the hut. Russian girl immediately breaks the silence, tells me it's good to see me again. Relief, gratitude, and embarrassment hits me at once. Feels like a motherly gesture from the girl. No one was too offended by the previous night, just amused at this point. I still feel like shit and the trip is ruined, but oh well. Still 2 ceremonies to go. The resort feels like a prison with terrible humidity. Nothing to do during the day. Russian girls do keep a distance from me at this point. No longer entertaining any unspoken fantasy at this point. Contemplate leaving the resort, but decode to stay. Whatever. Ceremony 4. Shaman again sings all night long again. It's the same 5 or 6 songs from the first night. Starting to get real tired of it. The facilitator decides to sing a song. Terrible voice and made-up spiritual lyrics. You came all this way to find yourself. Cringe. One of the Russian girls has a bad trip. Facilitator spends 30 minutes blowing smoke on her forehead and singing an interminable song while holding her hand as if that was helping. No one can leave the hut during the ceremony to go for a smoke on the steps anymore. It feels like a prison, with heavy silence from everyone but the shaman and the facilitator, who is now drinking ayahuasca during the ceremony, even though he's supposed to be on guard and alert for the actual paying guests in case they need help. By the way, at this point no more puking or even tripping from the ayahuasca. Just feeling slightly drunk, shaman giving me small doses at this point. Not that I would have gone for another big dose at this point. Like I'm keeping my feet heavy on the brakes for control. Shaman goes for another round of individual songs face to face. My turn comes up. Shaman sits in front of me, starts singing. I can't understand Spanish, but masturbation comes up repeatedly in the song. WTF. Get the feeling the shaman is getting back at me for the other night. Oh, well, take it like a man. The song is over. Say thank you. Decide in my mind that the song is some kind of no-fap well wishes from the shaman. Not too offended because I was already aware of my own habits and had attempted to cut down on the habit, but not really sure about the shaman's intention, giving him benefit of the doubt for the moment. I was on no-fap for the whole trip to Peru, by the way. The next day, I went to the lounge and asked him straight up about the song. He said, "Oh no, it was not about you. I was singing to the spirits so they would not disturb your energy." Doubt.jpg. Shaman leaves hurriedly. Trust is definitely broken. Oh well. Have a conversation with the facilitator. He confides to me some of his problems. I give him my general advice. Don't rely too much on ayahuasca to solve all your problems. I feel good being the psychologist for a moment. One more ceremony to go. A last ceremony. The very next morning, we left town to go back to the airport. At this point, I just want to get over with it. Still the same 6 or 7 songs over and over again, smoke on the forehead, tired of these superstitions which are not mine. Look at my Indiglo watch during the ceremony to keep track of time. My face shines in the darkness of the hut. Shaman scolds me. Fine. Endure a night of boredom. Heavy silence, no buzz. Bulgarian boomer bad trips again. Clearly he seems to react negatively to the shaman's songs. I think the situation could be solved by just sending the boomer to his hut and chill out. Shaman just blows smoke on his forehead. Shaman decides for one more song for every guest. My turn comes up. Shaman sits in front of me. At this point, I'm just tired and pissed. Shaman starts to sing in falsetto. I have no idea what this is about and I'm not in the mood. I want it to stop. I tap on his leg to signal to him to stop his song since I don't want to air my dirty laundry to people tripping on ayahuasca. He laughs. He thinks I'm coming on to him. I take a sip of water and start spitting in my bucket as loudly as possible as a signal to the shaman. He cuts his song short finally and seems to be a bit broken, like a singer bombing on stage. I don't give a care. I don't say thanks or amigo afterwards like before. Leave the hut as soon as the sun rises to get my luggage ready. One more talk with the shaman. I try to explain why I refused his song just an hour ago, but clearly he has an empty gaze and has no idea what I'm on about. Final breakfast. Take the jeep back to town. No one mentions any ceremonies. Parting thoughts. Maybe one detail I forgot is that the shaman played footsie with me during the 4th ceremony. At first I thought it was the Russian girl, but no, it was the shaman. I was disappointed. I'm not sure what that was about, clearly breaking the rule of no touching during the ceremony. Hard to think it was just a friendly gesture, but I just acknowledged the touching and broke contact. Also, the second night, the Russian girl moved close to me, and somehow her delicate hair was all over my foot in the dark. I felt intentional on her parts, which probably boosted my confidence to go crazy on Ceremony 3. So basically, it was an interesting experience. Peak was Ceremony 1, though. It just felt like a good weed trip in the country. Screaming at the top of my lungs on Ceremony 3 felt great while it was occurring, but it was a huge embarrassment afterwards. I'm still ashamed to think of that night, but I did have a feeling of positivity from the whole experience. Set and setting was what really mattered to this retreat. In my mind, ayahuasca is nothing special, on par with mushrooms. Don't feel bad if you can't go to the jungle to drink ayahuasca. It's not a solution or a cure to anything as far I can tell. And definitely facilitators and shamans are not equipped at all to solve our problems. Not that it's their mission, but the whole retreat left me the impression they were just party hosts going through different cues during the evening. At some point, they drop perfume on you in the middle of the night. Felt like some empty drug party tricks. Anyways, the point of the story was just to de-glamorize ayahuasca retreats for people who can't go. Maybe I'm just some thick-headed moron who can't access the machine elves, so I hope this did the trick. So, no machine elves. Shaman and facilitator are just as clueless as me. Certainly as far as my own problems go. No fountain of wisdom. What comes out of your trip is what you put in. Nothing more, nothing less.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.